Hi everyone, it's Gladys Diaz and welcome to video 3 of the Meet Mr. Right for You video series. I'm really excited to have you back again, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about what are some of those things that might actually have gotten in the way of you doing some of the recommendations that were made in video 1 and video 2. Just to recap, video 1 talked about really enhancing your confidence, building up your confidence and your feminine energy by really taking good care of yourself, by making sure you feel good and look good and smiling and putting yourself out there, really just making yourself more visible so that Mr. Right for You can actually see you and recognize you. And then in video 2, we talked about how to make dating more fun, how to actually change our mindset around dating so that it occurs as something that's fun and exciting and something that we look forward to and are enjoying as we go through the process of meeting new men, getting to know them, and then choosing the one that we feel is Mr. Right for me. Okay, so today I want to talk about what may have gotten in the way because my experience in working with women is that a lot of times hearing these things and even knowing what there is to do doesn't always make a difference because there's stuff that gets in the way, and a lot of times it comes in the way of our fears, of our limiting beliefs about what we believe is actually possible for us. So one of the first things that I see gets in the way, and maybe you experienced it during or after watching the video, are our thoughts about ourselves. Like, really, how real is this for me? I'm not pretty enough, or I'm not young enough, I'm not old enough, I've got kids, all of those things that get, I'm not enough of something that would actually make it possible for me to experience the love that my heart desires. So the first thing I want to recommend, or just talk to you about, I'm not going to recommend, I just want to talk you and me, is to really think about the way that you see yourself. This whole series, right, is about meeting Mr. Right for me. And I've been using the word attract a lot on purpose because we really do attract to ourselves what we want. And if your thoughts are consumed a lot around not being able to do this, not knowing how to do this, not being enough of something that somebody would find you lovable, I really want you to take a look at that. And I want you to just take a moment. And if you've got a mirror close by, or if you've got your phone and you can kind of switch it to where you can see yourself, I want you to just take a few seconds and just look at you. And don't look at the hair that's out of place, or, for some of you, it's kind of late at night when you're watching this. I just want you to look into your eyes and see you, the essence of you. And I want you to really fall in love with the image that you see looking back at you. Look at the power that's there. Look at the beauty that's there. Look at the hope that's in your eyes. I want you to really own that. And this may seem to you like really, woo-woo or fluffy, but I'm telling you, it's going to be almost impossible for you to attract someone who's going to love you until you fall in love with yourself. Until you begin to forgive, if there's something that you need to forgive yourself for, you need to embrace and accept the parts of you that maybe you have been rejecting and being angry about and not bringing love and acceptance to, whether it's something physical or it's something emotional that's happened to you. So one of the things that's really helpful, it's a practice that I do have my clients do, is to write a list of affirmations, things that you absolutely love about yourself. So some of them can be, I'm a loving person, I'm a great listener, I'm fun to be with. And if you're at a place right now where you can't really think about that many things to fill a list of 10, and by the way, feel free to write more. The minimum is 10. If you're at a place right now where you can't see that, because there's just so much stuff in the way, ask 1 or 2 people in your life who you trust, a family member, a girlfriend, somebody who you feel comfortable asking, what are some of the things that you like about me? And then just listen and receive what they say. Don't try to minimize it, joke it away, laugh it off. Like, really receive what they're saying. Write it down and then thank them, because that's how they see you. So how you see yourself is really going to impact how Mr. Right for you is going to see you as well. Okay, so that's going to be the first thing. And don't skip over this one. If this is something that's standing in your way, and even if you're saying, no, I'm pretty confident, I love myself, write the list. I want you to have the experience of acknowledging the things that you love about yourself. I'm telling you, it can be a really powerful exercise. And so I don't want you to skip over it. You won't be able to hear the dating tips and the recommendations and the steps that you need to take if all of that, I'm not worthy, I'm not lovable enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not whatever enough, is in your way. So you promise me that you'll do that? I hope so. Okay, the second thing that could be a pitfall or an excuse that gets in the way is, a lot of people say, I don't want to waste my time. I just don't want to waste my time. I don't want to go out there and date a bunch of people and have the same experience that I'm just going out on date after date after date. So I'm going to invite you to go back to video 2 and watch that video, especially the beginning that talks about shifting your mindset around dating. If in your head you have this idea that dating should look a particular way, if it's with the guy who's right for you, like that there should be an instant attraction, that he should say and do everything that's right and everything that you agree with, and that you guys are going to see eye to eye on every single subject matter, then go back to that video and realize that dating is an opportunity to meet as many men as possible, to learn as much as you can about them and about yourself, to have wonderful new experiences that are fun, so that you can use that information to then choose the man who you feel is Mr. Right for you. But you can't do that if you're thinking that you're wasting your time. If even before you go on the date, you've already determined that you're wasting your time, it's going to impact how you're being on that date. It's going to impact your facial expressions, because remember we talked about smiling. It's going to impact how you're interacting with him, whether you seem like you're having a good time or you're bored or you're just tolerating his presence or whatever activity that you guys are involved in. So if you already have that mindset that this is just a waste of time and it's not going to result in me having finding a great man with whom I can have a wonderful relationship, then you are wasting your time. If you've already decided that before you even go out on the date, it's an absolute waste of time. But if you can open up your mind to the possibility that this is going to be fun, that regardless of what happens at the end of the night, whether he asks me out again or not, I had a good time because I chose to have a good time. I chose to be easygoing. I chose to really be present and absorb the sights and the sounds and the taste maybe of the food if it's a dinner date. That you actually get to choose what your experience is going to be on each and every single date. Okay? So you've got to be willing to put your heart out there. And sometimes that fear of wasting my time or not getting what I want will convince you to stay home, to say no, that it's not, oh, it's just another party or it's just another dating event. You've got to be willing to put yourself out there, to put your heart out there so that he can see you and recognize you and be attracted to you. Okay? And then the last excuse that I find is very common is, I don't want to make the same mistakes again. Gladys, I've picked the wrong man. I married the wrong man. I've had my heart broken. I've been cheated on. I was sure this man was absolutely perfect for me, and it ended up that he wasn't. And I'm afraid to make that mistake again. And first I want to say that's natural. Okay, when something happens that we don't like or that hurts us and is painful, of course we don't want to experience that situation again. So the thing to shift is that that situation is not happening right now. The fact that you're stopping yourself from moving forward is stopping that situation from happening, but that it's not going to happen again. You may have a similar experience if you choose to, or you can have a completely different experience. This time around, you will listen to your intuition. This time around, you won't ignore the red flags telling you that this is not a good guy for you. You will be open to dating more than one person so that you're not getting attached to someone right away. And you will wait before getting physically intimate with someone so that you're not having that attachment again to him before there's actually a commitment there on both sides. So know that you have now information that you may not have either known before or been conscious of, been aware of before. Okay? So whatever it is that's made you afraid, whatever it was that happened and made you believe that this isn't possible for you, that you're not lovable and deserving of love, you need to know that it's not the truth. Okay, so don't allow what someone else did or what's happened in the past to determine your happiness now in the present and in the future. Your past is not a predictor of your future. Okay, you can choose to have an absolutely different experience this time with the knowledge that you have now and the lessons that you've learned and the strength that you've built up from having gone through that and come out on the other side. Okay, so your faith is going to have to be a little bit bigger than your fear. Okay, and that does mean that you're gonna, courage. People think that courage means that you don't feel fear, and that's not true. Courage is not the absence of fear. Being courageous is experiencing the fear and then knowing that there's something else that's bigger, that's more important to you, that your desire to be in a loving, fulfilling, tender, loving relationship is bigger than the fear that you won't. You see that? So your faith has to be bigger than your fear. Your desire to have your dreams come true is going to need to look at that fear and say, yes, I'm afraid, but I'm going to go ahead and take a step. I'm going to go and put my profile up on Match.com, or I am going to go out and go to that wedding, even if I'm going by myself, because my cousin said I'm going to be sitting at the singles table, or I am going to go ahead and go to happy hour after work instead of heading straight home. Just take a step. One step will lead to the next one, but your faith has to be bigger than your fear. And remember that you're not alone. There are people in your life who want you to be happy. Remember how I shared in video 1, if you'll let people know that what you want is to really meet a wonderful man with whom you can create a beautiful relationship, that they're going to rally around you, but you've got to let people know that you'd like to meet nice, single, available men. And people want to help, people want to contribute, and they want to see you happy, but you've got to want your happiness more than anybody else, okay? And then remember, I'm here too. Like, if you need support, if you want to work with someone, like, reach out to me. There's no way that I can know what your particular situation is until you reach out, okay? So really allow yourself to begin to believe that this absolutely can happen for you, and just realize that the fear is going to be there, it's going to creep up, and you can still take another step. You can still do one more thing, one more action that's aligned with your dream of being in a wonderful relationship with an absolutely fantastic man who's perfect for you. Okay? And speaking of support and speaking of really making your dreams come true, I almost forgot, but I don't want to forget to tell you about a 90-minute call that I'm going to be doing in a couple of weeks. This 90-minute call is called, how to attract and create the love of your dreams. Okay, and it's going to talk about how you can actually begin to create the relationship that you have always dreamed of, the relationship that you have been waiting to experience. And we're going to go through how you begin to create that from the inside out. Okay, so I want you to know that we're going to be talking about how to identify, one of the things that came up in the survey was I'm not really clear about what I want in a relationship. So we're going to get crystal clear about what you want to experience in a relationship. We're going to talk about how that checklist that you've been holding on to is just not serving you. Okay, and the checklist is not about standards and values. It's about the limitations that you're putting on who you get to experience being loved by. And then number 3, we're going to be talking about how actually to start creating a relationship and living into a relationship that is going to fulfill every single one of your heart's desires. So I want you to be on the lookout for that email. Okay, know that it's coming next week, and you do not want to miss this call. I'm telling you, I'm being like really honest. You don't want to miss the call. So if you've ever had your heart broken, if you've ever dated or married the wrong guy, if you are at the point where you're absolutely ready to where it's a priority for you to actually begin stepping into a new future and meeting and falling in love with an absolutely wonderful man and creating an amazing relationship together, then you don't want to miss this call. You want to be on there with me, okay? So again, it's coming to you next week. Keep an eye out for your emails, your newsletters, and I really hope that you have enjoyed this video series. I hope that it's made a difference for you. Please let me know. Keep sending those emails. And until our hearts meet again, always remember that you are loved. Goodbye, everyone.